Just got done watching a video by the Groundwork for the Metaphysics of MGTOW, where he was talking about the absence of anti-feminism in the anti-feminism community. Now, I'm not going to go into the same length of detail that he did, and instead I'm just going to boil it down to a few words. Apparently, much like Sargana said before, the people who are anti-feminists are actually the ones who are real feminists, ironically enough. And what I mean by that is, most of the people who call themselves anti-feminists actually believe men and women are equal as far as capability is concerned. And granted, there are differences, both physically and mentally, but the idea is if a woman goes to the same lengths as a man, she can go and get results in most of the cases. And also, as most anti-feminists will tell you, they are against feminism, but are pro-woman. And to make this all easier to digest, what you have to understand is the reason for this is because the people who call themselves feminists are not feminists. At least not as far as the word means. They are basically feminist supremacists. In other words, the entire feminist movement, it actually died at the end of second wave feminism. Third wave feminism was something else entirely different and shouldn't have been called feminism by any stretch of the imagination. It should have been called something radically different that would have at least went and tipped you off as to what the movement was about. The only problem, though, is when you go around as a supremacist movement, it becomes very damn hard to go and get people on board who are not completely batshit insane. And to go under the umbrella of something that was originally a good thing to have, it is a very easy way to go and weaponize women. Basically, if you go and say anything about our supremacy movement, we will go and say that you hate women, even though we know what we're saying is complete bullshit. And the fact that we are going to brainwash other women into believing that people disagreeing with them is actually a form of oppression, well, that's okay because we're women and anything we say is right, and you're a man, so therefore, everything you say must be wrong. In fact, we are going to invent a new term for it. We're just going to call it mansplaining so that we have a reason not to listen to anything a man says. And so when you sit down and realize, well, what the hell is different from a feminist movement and a women's supremacist movement, and you quickly realize there really isn't any. They're both the same. They're the exact same damn thing. The people calling themselves feminists in today's times would fit nicely into a women's supremacist movement because that's what they are! Meanwhile, the people who are against feminism are actually the people who would better fit the definition of what a feminist is. That is, someone who goes and believes that men and women should be treated equal. Just because you got tits and a vagina does not mean you're a good person. Just because you got tits and a vagina does not mean that you are automatically being discriminated against. And just because you got tits and a vagina does not mean you are always right, and it also does not mean you should be given preferential treatment in terms of politics or in being hired for a job. Again, the entire idea that, a meritocracy, that is anti-woman. That's bad, that's evil. How dare you go and say a person should be judged on their ability to do a job and what naughty bits that are or are not hanging in between their legs. And so, as it turns out, feminists who go and say, well, if you support women's rights and you are a feminist, the interesting thing is they're right. We are a feminist. I am a feminist. Except guess what? The people that calling themselves feminists are not feminists. Can you imagine that? I mean, apparently here it is in the U.S., the anti-feminists are the ones pushing feminism, and the feminists are the ones who are against it. I don't know what's going on, other than I might have made a wrong turn at Albuquerque and somehow ended up in Soviet Russia. At least that's the story I'm going with, because otherwise that means we are incredibly fucked up as a society. We no longer know our head from our tail. We need to go and start calling things what they are. Feminism is not dying. It is dead. It's been dead for years. It's just that there have been women who have propped up feminism's corpse and have actually used it as a shield to go and deflect any criticism from their supremacy movement. Holy shit.